He's alive! He's alive! It is time!
Yeah, I guess I figured it was finally time to deliver on that finale that was promised. It's been like, what, a month since we got back? I don't know. I wanted to take the time to process everything that, happened and try and put it into words so I can make it clear and concise here, even though I've never been the best at planning speeches, so I'm just going to kind of wing it. We'll see how it goes. So what can be said about Japan that hasn't been said before? There's not much. Everyone knows that Japan is old and that there's 100 million people there, and they know that there's mountains everywhere and that it's beautiful outside of the cities, and they know that it's colorful and bright. Everyone knows that it's loud. The people there tend to talk above normal volume, except for when they're winning. And all this is true. It's true. But there's something beyond all that is hard to put into words. It's a difference in viewpoints on the world, I suppose is how you could put it. And instead of trying to give a deep philosophical speech, I'm going to compare two places, one from here in the US and one from in Japan. And hopefully through that I can present to you what I mean. Now, the first place is called Meow Wolf in New Mexico. Unfortunately, I wasn't doing this whole recording thing when we went there, and all I have are these two slightly menacing photographs, but there's definitely something special about this place. Now, Meow Wolf is not really an art museum. It's more of an art project. It's essentially a singular building out in the middle of the desert, and inside there is a house, and there's this whole story behind it. And within this house, essentially there are numerous different rooms that have wildly and radically different motifs and designs, and it's just the strangest place you've ever been. Hopefully those two pictures help convey that somewhat. And this is noticeable when you compare it to the Japanese counterpart. Now, this colorful display that you're looking at here is Borderless in Tokyo. It's also an art museum that's more of an art project, where every single room has something that affects the rooms beside it. A bird will fly off the wall in the large room into a smaller room, and now that bird is in there doing something else. Now, this is in stark contrast to what goes on in Meow Wolf in New Mexico, where each individual room is its own very strange and unique thing, especially compared to what is here in Borderless. Because yes, while Borderless is beautiful, it is things like flowers and water and lights. Meow Wolf, you have eyes coming out of walls and a large statue to a bunny god or something along those lines. Really, Meow Wolf and Borderless can be used as examples for what I'm talking about. And the biggest difference between here and Japan. Whereas Borderless is this place where everything within it affects everything else. There's no room that's completely by itself, and each room has a job that it has to do for the other room. This room can't get its birds without the birds flying from room A to room B. Meow Wolf is completely disconnected. The rooms have nothing to do with each other. Even though they're in the same space, they don't depend on each other. And they don't really need that. In my opinion, I like Meow Wolf more than Borderless. Not by much, but more. And the way that we Americans act versus the way that Japanese citizens act is kind of the same. Now, much like borderless in Japan, Japanese citizens tend to believe that their lives influence those of the people around them. They act like this too. It's in everything, from the way that they sit, from the way they talk, from the way they walk. It's how they act, and this extends to every facet of their life. They believe that they truly are influential in other people's lives just in passing. And through this, they form this grand connected web that's impressive, to say the least. But this can lead to us Americans especially thinking of them as kind of worker bees, and I don't think that's true at all. They very much are connected to each other, just in a way that's different from our view. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. The Americans, Meow Wolf, where every single room is separate from each other, and nothing that happens within the room affects each other. This is how we Americans tend to act and believe, that our lives, while they may mean something to those close to us, don't affect those that we pass on the street or see on the subway. We do what we want when we want to, and we're going to do that for as long as we can until we get everything we want. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Far from it. I very much enjoy being American. But I think it's important to realize that there's a middle we can reach. Now, what that middle is anybody's guess. And it might not even be best that we reach it. I'm no psychologist. All I know is what I've learned. And going to Japan, I learned a lot. And I'm very happy that we went. If you're watching this, you know me, probably. And if you don't, hi. I'm not usually like this. So I just want to convey how this is what traveling does. And I think that anyone who can should go. Go for it. Go as far as you can. Because if going to Japan taught me anything, it's that the further away from America you are, the more you'll learn. Because I learned a lot. And really, I think that's the best thing a vacation can do for you. So, this is Ethan, signing out until the next time I go somewhere, or the next time I feel like making a video. I guess we'll see when that happens. Yeah, I guess I figured it was timely fine